Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of TV is Our Real Mom. I'm Dave.
I'm Catie.
And we are going to discuss Walking Dead, Season 6, Episode 6, entitled
Always Accountable.
Always Accountable. And Catie is always reliable. You can count on her to remember stuff that I do not remember. Like
not a sexy title of an episode. That's probably why you didn't remember it.
Yeah.
So.
Always accountable. And do you have any idea what that title refers to?
Yeah. Sasha was talking to Abraham, basically having a pep talk, saying, I don't even know. You have to be accountable for these decisions that you make in this world.
Seems fair.
I think that was a vague version of it. But
so yeah, are Sasha and Abraham going to hook up? Is that going to happen?
That seemed to be on Abraham's mind. I don't know. That's kind of odd.
Yeah, he seemed to be like, well, looks like we're staying here and we're going to
up.
start making babies.
And he's got Rosita waiting for him back in Alexandria saying...
He doesn't give a shit. He's
apparently
just like, let's do this thing.
And it hasn't been that long since Sasha's boyfriend got eaten. Yeah, he got his leg cut off and they ate it and then he died.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I don't know. Perhaps in the zombie apocalypse you are more adaptable and you say, well, this is what it is. This is who I'm with. This is just how it's going to be.
And she's like, how do you know I even want that? And Abraham like steps up. He's like, a man can tell.
I would have punched him in his face. Who knows if Sasha actually reciprocates that feeling. But I do get the sense that they're trying to find a couple. Yeah. You got Rick and Jesse. Now you got this weird Sasha Abraham thing. Some kind of couple to fill the vacuum that you know is coming when Glenn and Maggie are no more.
Yes.
Because Glenn's dead. Whether he's dead, he's gonna die soon.
Will Maggie be no more as well at some point? Is she soon to follow after Glenn?
Well, if her childbirth experience goes anything like Lori's did, yeah, she's gonna die soon. So.
That's right. That didn't go too well, did it?
No. But she had to have a C-section because she had a C-section the first time. Maggie's never had a kid, so maybe she won't have to do that.
Right.
But there are certainly complications giving birth to a child without modern medicine and technology.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. So the bulk of this episode was Daryl kind of in the woods.
Finally.
Looked like his bike maybe failed him, and that's how he ended up in the woods, but at the end of the episode...
It worked.
It works. So
I'm not sure what was going on. If he just lost control...
I have no idea what happened. If someone wants to explain in the comments what happened. You haven't read any recaps or anything.
No.
Because I'm sure someone would explain it clearly in there, but I don't get it. His bike worked when he got back, but it looked like the reason he was in that place in the first place was because his bike didn't work, but maybe
I think he was walking it. I think he just lost control of it, and then he was walking it because he didn't know where he was and didn't want to make noise and attract anybody.
And he just laid down because he was tired.
So he hit it to just kind of see where he was, get his bearings, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And try to track Sasha and Abraham because he knew they'd be on foot.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like he was just kind of lost. He needed to kind of start tracking them, and that's why he was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he covered it with the leaves, hid it, so no one would find it, so he could come back to it.
And he gets sort of captured by these people.
New people. More new people.
More new people.
This trio of new people. I don't know their names. Or maybe I do. The short-haired girl, her name was Tina. And the dude's name was Dwight. I don't know the other girl's name.
So yeah, you got a new group of people. More people to keep track of. And they seem to answer, or they were answering to some guy named Wayne, or they...
Wade, I think.
Wade.
I don't know if Wade is the leader, or the guy who comes out and does the dirty work. There's probably a higher leader, a comic book character that I think people know is coming to the show soon.
Yeah, so that's the leader, and Wade is his guy he sends out to
his crony. But they say things like, we're not going to kneel, or we earned what we took. So there's clearly some system in place that this Wade guy and whoever's above him
there's like a set of rules
is trying to keep in place.
So
we let you live if you do this stuff.
They have their own little society, kind of, or more like a dictatorship.
Sounds like it, because clearly Dwight and Tina and Little Miss, what's her name, weren't fond of that system because they escaped.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like
they
escaped. They never really explained. They never explain things on Walking Dead. They just kind of subtly...
Yeah, everything's a subtle, like, camera shot or something.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. I guess
fine.
I like that style.
It's good for people who like to figure things out.
Exposition is annoying in most shows, so that's one thing to Walking Dead.
Let me explain this to you. No.
Just a horrible line of dialogue that is obviously exposition, is never good. But yeah, so most of the episode is Daryl,
with these people. He happens to get away from them at one point. And then he finds out that he took the insulin for one of the girls who has diabetes. So he goes back, gives it back to them.
He's forced to make an ethical decision.
Yeah.
And he chooses to help them out.
But he does take their stuff.
Yeah, and he's about to leave, but then those Wade and his cronies show up and he decides to help them get away and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they end up turning on him at some point, right?
Yeah, at the end of the episode, Daryl thinks, you guys can come back to Alexandria with me, because he's a recruiter. That's his job with Alexandria.
That's what he does now.
And he's like, oh, look what I stumbled upon. But then stupidly starts walking ahead of them, knowing they have a gun. And then they pull it on him and take everything that makes Daryl Dixon. They took
his bike.
They took his crossbow. I'm surprised they didn't ask for his leather vest thing with the wings on it that you can't really even see anymore because it's so filthy. But yeah, they stripped away Daryl's identity. But you can't strip away Daryl's identity.
No, I mean, he finds a truck.
Yeah.
He drives it.
He doesn't even hesitate. He's like, well, they're gone. What do I do?
Found a truck.
Go pick up my friends.
That was that.
Drive back to Alexandria.
Pretty basic episode. I mean, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. We just summed it up in
really
4 minutes.
Oh, that Tina girl did get eaten by walkers because she's a dumbass and laid down next to 2 dead bodies.
Yeah, she kind of just she was standing still and she tripped into them. Mm-hmm. It was nah.
But, then you don't have to worry about giving her insulin.
Yeah.
It makes life easier.
Yeah, life is easier without her.
You knew she was, one of those 3 was a goner. I'm sure we're going to see the other 2 down the road, and hopefully they'll both die too.
Yeah.
I found them very annoying.
After what they did to Daryl, man.
Yeah.
They deserve it.
But Daryl had a pretty baller response to them. They were like, sorry. And he goes, gonna be.
You will be.
And that's probably going to be true.
Yeah, I mean, it's Daryl, man. Come on. So,
but Abraham got a rocket launcher.
Oh yeah, an RPG, which stands for
rocket propelled grenade.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Not role playing game.
No.
Which is what I think of when I hear RPG.
Yep.
But
it's rocket propelled grenade.
So he's got a pretty sweet new weapon.
It'll be interesting to see what he's going to use it for, because I mean they're not just having him get that for no reason. I mean, he's going to use it. Yeah,
they made a pretty big scene about him getting that stupid thing.
That's something we could talk about, is what the hell was going on with him when he was shaking that zombie and he's
I was confused.
Just losing his mind.
I thought he was just trying to taunt the zombie, like, oh, you can't get me.
You can't get me. Is that all it was? I mean, that could be it.
Well, he was also trying to get the launcher. He had the grenade.
Oh, that's right. The launcher.
He needed the launcher.
Yeah.
And it was strapped to that guy's back.
Yeah, that part, I mean, I got why he went out to that zombie, but then why he started, shaking him. And I suppose he was just, one way to look at it was he was just taking out aggression, getting out some demons,
Well, the thing that struck me was, it was kind of a metaphor, which Walking Dead does a lot. You can try to make something happen, and you can struggle, but if you just kind of sit back and let it happen, things will happen like they're supposed to. Because he eventually because of his struggle, he falls off the fence.
There you go. Did you have that loaded up this whole time, ready to say that, or did you just come
I just remembered that's what I thought the first time I watched the episode.
Okay,
yeah.
Because that's got to be what it is. It's he's trying so hard, and it was frustrating, and then he just walked away, and then the
lit
zombie...
a cigar.
Yeah, the zombie just fell, and that's perfect. I love that. I didn't catch that. I didn't think that. That's perfect. That makes a lot of sense.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
But it was a weird scene.
Mm-hmm. I guess I haven't been as into the show lately as I have been,
Yeah.
and my sort of understanding of it suffers because I just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, especially after last week's episode. I mean, when we were very hard on last week's
Yeah, we were a little
episode.
harsh on it, but I mean, it wasn't one
Walking
of my faves.
Dead has frustrating episodes and frustrating arcs, and it has always been that way.
Yeah,
So,
there's ups and downs.
I'm not going to mince words.
Overall, it's a great show.
Yeah,
I love
of
it,
course.
Yeah.
But there are times, I mean, you kill off so many characters, and then you try to bring in people, but we know better than to get invested. You know? Because
they're just going to get eaten.
And especially if they're boring to begin with, like Jesse and Spencer and all the people in Alexandria, like, we're not going to waste our time getting invested in these people. So don't devote a bunch of time to them because they don't mean anything, you know? And we know they're going to be dead soon. I mean, we know.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the end of the episode. I think it was the very end where someone's on the walkie and they just say hello, right? Hello?
Help. No,
or help.
Yeah.
And doesn't sound like Glenn.
It doesn't sound like Glenn at all. I know everyone wants it to be Glenn, but it doesn't sound like his voice.
It doesn't sound like Glenn. So, I mean, who else has walkie-talkies? I mean,
Michonne and those guys, but they were already on their way back.
And Sasha. So, wait, yeah, Michonne and those guys, that could be... No, they're already back.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, they're back.
They've showed them back.
Mm-hmm.
But, anybody back in
it could be someone in Alexandria.
Alexandria could be one of those people. Like, it almost sounded like a kid.
It could be Enid, because remember she left?
Enid, it could be Enid. It sounded like a kid to me more than anything.
What are Jesse's creepy kids' names again? Ron?
I think it's Ron. Ron.
Could be Ron.
Could be Ron. And the only other possibility is somebody has found Glenn's walkie-talkie and they're on Glenn's.
That's what I think
But
it is.
the problem with that is I don't think those walkers have
left.
Where have those walkers gone? I mean, walkers don't just die.
Once
they
once they've ripped a body clean, they'll move on.
They sort of wander slowly to the next.
So they
food
either
source.
got Glenn and Nicholas, cleaned him up and moved on, or Glenn got away. In which case, there was a fence there, so if he got through that fence, then he's probably, fine for now. But although he probably got bit, I don't know. Whatever. Just, I don't like how they're dragging this out. We predicted they'd wait till episode 8, and it looks like that's going to be the case, but it doesn't make it okay.
No, I'm not a fan of it.
No, neither am I.
I
mean, and they're, like, taunting you. They've taken his name out of the credits. Like, they're making us think one thing,
Mm-hmm. Well, taking his name out of the credits doesn't bode well for Glenn, but... but they could just be trying to trick us. Yeah.
So, it's happened before where someone's died, like, before the end of a season, but they keep his name or her name in until that season's over. Just, like...
Yeah, so it's obviously intentional just to mess with us.
It's something intentional. And I feel like the speech Maggie gave last week, like, I don't get to know. Maybe they're saying that to us. Maybe we just don't get to know. But it's a TV show. He's a main character. We should get to know.
We should get to know. But I guess we'll see about that.
But there are some, now you've got that new group out there. And who knows who else is out there. Maybe somebody found Glenn and they have his walkie. Or it could be a trap.
Absolutely. Could be.
Yeah.
All right, so who's the MVP of this episode?
I mean, Daryl's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
There were only really 3 people you can pick.
Yeah. I'll pick Abraham.
I'll pick Sasha.
Okay.
Because she was like, whatever.
I like Abraham. He's funny.
Yeah.
And
Did he always talk that way?
He kind of changed his voice in this episode. I don't know.
He sounded a lot more like Eugene. Like, not in the timbre of his voice, in the words he used.
Yeah, he was more poetic in his speech, and
I don't remember if he was like
might have been a little out of character. Like maybe they changed writers in the writers' room, and they didn't really think too much about continuity of characters here. But
I'd have to go back and watch some other Abraham-centric episodes, but I feel like he was more straightforward before.
Yeah, and not as
like
sophisticated sounding. Just more. Mm-hmm. Like the kind of character you would think he is just looking at him,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, MVPs and predictions for next week.
We won't find out if Glenn is dead or
I
not.
totally agree. I don't think we watched the preview yet, so.
I did. I mean, we'll finally get to see Carol again, so that's good. And somebody else. I already forgot. But Carol's going to be in it, so that's important. Because she was so kick-ass in the one episode she's been in so far.
I forgot what was going on in Alexandria. Oh, there was like
everybody was awful?
The hole in the wall with the ooze coming through.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. See, I don't even care. I'm like, yeah. Ooh, there was a cliffhanger. I don't even remember.
So, and they have Rick saying, "Run, everybody, run!" So it sounds like
that's special and unique.
Sounds like, well, yeah, that happens every episode. But I mean, why would he be saying "run" when they're already in Alexandria? Makes you wonder if Alexandria is totally screwed in this episode.
It's breached.
It's finally like, let's move on from Alexandria.
There's so much focus on the walls. You know, eventually the walls are just going to collapse.
So we could see that happen in this episode. Walls go down.
Yeah.
They get the F out of Dodge.
And just on the run again.
Yep.
But now with a bunch of new dumb people to look after.
I like it when they're on the run, as long as there's, something to sink your teeth into,
Yeah. And even though this was a Daryl episode, I felt it was kind of meh.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this episode. Yeah. But, I'm
You can't just save the one exciting thing for the last second of the episode. That's what they do.
Yeah. But, we'll see what happens next week.
Or tonight.
Yeah, I suppose we're a little late on this one, but whatever.
Sorry.
All right. See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.